Hello and welcome to a book review. And today we will be talking about The Vampire's Bargain by Jasmine Walt. I have thoughts. So this came in the Butterfly Book Club box for October 2025. Yes, I'm behind on my reading. Shut up. And I read this. This wasn't on my May to read pile, but I wanted something short as a kind of a palate cleanser between books. And I only finished it this morning. Let's go for the blurb. Kitana Nightshade is one of the most powerful witches in Valenterra. A fierce defender of witchkind and humanity, she stands as a bastion against the vicious threat of the vampire kingdom, rising to become the deadliest vampire hunter the world has ever known. That is, until her lover betrays her in cold blood, sealing her away in a magical prison so he can take her power for himself. For 50 long years, Kitana has dreamed of nothing but vengeance. But when she is finally freed from her magical prison, it is not by a fellow witch, but an enigmatic and dangerous vampire lord. The bargain he offers her is simple: assassinate the vampire king, and in return he'll help her take back her coven and enact her revenge. Normally, Kitana would never ally with a vampire, but the world she left behind 50 years ago has changed. The sun has disappeared, the vampires have conquered the human kingdoms, and the witches are nowhere to be found. The only person Kitana can truly trust is herself. Yet in this new realm shrouded by darkness and abandoned by the gods, that may not be enough. And when a shattering truth is revealed, Kitana must decide what is most important: vengeance or the price of her heart. And there are content warnings. So let's see how relevant they are. Where's the content warnings? I can't find any content warnings. I'm sure there was some, but there isn't any in the book. So the story is interesting, and it is interesting. I think I read this over maybe 3 days, which I know for me, I could usually read a book like this in one day, but there are buts, but we'll come to them. So Kitana is our main character, although she's not on the front cover. And she is Kitana Nightshade. She is a 70-year-old witch, feared vampire hunter, who for the last 50 years has been locked away in a power-draining sarcophagus that no one knows of by the guy who was her lover. She has sworn vengeance, and the guy who comes to break her out is a vampire lord called Maximilian Starclaw. The guy. This one. I think it's that one. It might be one of other characters, but I think it's this one. And he breaks her out because only a witch can kill the vampire king. He wants the vampire king assassinated, the vampire emperor, who rules with an iron fist and more. And he has been obsessed with trying to find where Kitana is, although most people in the world believe she's dead. I have a few things to say about this. While it was an enjoyable read, it was alright. It's alright. There are a fair few criticisms about this book. Because midway through the book, we have been in Kitana's POV all the way through until this is the beginning. Until this part of the book, we switch from only Kitana's point of view to 3 different points of view, which is Kitana, Maximilian, who is the vampire lord who rescued her, and Casimir, who is the crown prince of the vampire kingdom and son of the emperor that they want to kill. We get his POV as well. And the problem with that is that Casimir's POV and Maximilian's, to a point, are far, far more interesting than Kitana's, who is our main character and the one we're supposed to be rooting for. Because the problem, and it is a problem I found in many a book, Kitana is stupid. She's stupid. She is a stupid character. She is this 70-year-old witch, feared vampire hunter, feared across the kingdoms, feared for her hunting and skills. She is a deadly, deadly weapon. Why, when we are even reading in her head, does it feel like I'm reading some stupid teenager? Because that's what she comes across as, and that's what she acts like. She has no self-control. Her emotions are all over the place, and she has no control over whether her powers. You would expect a witch of legend to have iron control over her magic, but no, she just lets it out, and she has no sense of awareness or self-preservation in any situation that she finds herself. And she constantly puts herself in situations that are dangerous. And then she's easily overpowered. What the hell? She is easily overpowered even when she has her magic. And where is this witch of legend? Where is this feared hunter when vampires can just overpower her and Maximilian has to come and rescue her? And that's not a legend. That's stupid. And when that POV switch happens from part 1 to part 2, there is a 2-month time jump. And in those 2 months, all the relationships of the characters move on. But the reader doesn't get any of that. So when we go from part 1 to part 2, it's jarring because these characters are acting in a way that they didn't before. They're acting closer, but you haven't experienced that character growth because it's happened off page. Why? And of course there's romance in this. It's a romantasy. But the romance between Kitana and Maximilian just isn't there. There is no chemistry whatsoever between them two. It's forced, and because it's so forced, it comes off as incredibly cringy. The sex is cringe. The way they talk to each other, cringy. The way they play like teenagers, cringy. I mean, the romance was that forced, even when we were only in Kitana's point of view, that I felt sure that it was on purpose, and like by the end there was going to be like some bait and switch, and he was going to offer her up, or he was going to reveal something that he had a hand in locking her away in the first place. But no, it's just bad writing. By the end of this year, I won't remember anything in this book because it is incredibly forgettable. The characters are forgettable. The plot is forgettable. I enjoyed reading it. It was an alright book. But will I read it again? Probably not. And the twist that happened at the end, the twisty twist, you could see it coming a mile away. It was so obvious as to be insulting. And the plot, the actual plot that we plodded through, well, I mean, yes, it's only little, but we plodded through, this assassination thing. It doesn't happen in this book. There's no assassination. There's no revenge. There's nothing. The big reveal is not a big reveal because you are breadcrumbed so much through it, obviously, that when it is revealed, you're like, are you only just catching up now? Really? Really? And that's another thing that makes Kitana's character stupid. Because she acts like this is some big oh gasp moment. But it's not. It's not. If you were actually walking around with your eyes open, then you would have it's obvious, and I can't believe that the actual plot of this book doesn't happen in this book. It happens in the next one, which isn't even out yet. It doesn't have a title. It doesn't even have a date. This came out in 2024, and the second book is it's not coming yet. So I might keep this just in case the second book comes out. And while I do have space on my shelf, I'll keep it until I don't have space, and then it'll be off. And another thing I don't like about our main character, Kitana, is she is this legend, this myth and legend. So you would expect when the vampire lord breaks her out of this sarcophagus that she's been trapped in for the past 50 years by the guy that put her there, you would expect her to ask questions. Like the reader is asking questions, you expect her to ask questions. What's going on in the world? What's happened? Why is a vampire breaking me out? Where are the witches? I'm going off to go get revenge. Screw you. She doesn't ask anything. And she even says at the beginning, while she's laid there, because she knows she's still alive, she can hear people and smell them coming. And she says that many vampires have tried to break her out, tried to get near the tomb, and the magical wards that are around it have reduced them to ash. But she never ever asks why this one just waltzes up to her coffin and sets her free. I asked it, but you don't get an answer for it. And she never even thinks to ask. And she is this legendary vampire that is feared across the world, across the kingdoms. So when she has to go to this ceremony thing, and she is in the inner sanctum kingdom of all these vampire clans, and they're all there and they all meet her, why does not one recognize her? You would think that that vampires would know what this feared vampire hunter looks like so that they can avoid her. Not one of them knows what she looks like, and she doesn't like use a cloaking spell or anything. She's just there, neck out, and nothing happens. Nothing happens. There's no stakes in this. Pun not intended, but I'm going with it anyway. And the plot of it doesn't happen in this book, which is like what? Why? It's only a little one. Couldn't you have like done a bit more? But of course, the bit more isn't published and doesn't look like it's going to be published anytime soon. So yeah, this gets 3 stars. 2.5, 3, 2.5. This book gets 2.5. I'll round it up to 3 on Goodreads. But yeah, it might just go up on eBay. Now, would I recommend this to anybody? No. There are books out there that do this premise a lot better. The ones that come to mind are A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness and Witch King by Martha Wells, which I have actually read and does the whole being locked alive in a tomb thing a hell of a lot better. But if you've read this, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and until next time, keep reading.